Pow's new rig rundown, and dull knives from the basement. Go take a look. Hey there. Double feature today. We're going to do the Gearmasters rig breakdown for POW, and then we're going to listen to Dull Knives from the Warning Cave for DE Tour. And that was by request from Crash 66. So, without further ado, let's see what Paulina can teach us.
Hi, I'm Paulina. I am the drummer from The Warning, and right now we're in the North American leg of our Error World Tour. It's the second leg we're doing here in the US, and we're very excited. We just released a new song that is called More, and this is like one of the first times that we've been playing it throughout this tour, so it's been really cool. I've actually had to modify my kits to play that new song, so I'm gonna walk you through it. This is a DW performance series, and she's called Bonbon, which is marshmallow in Spanish. I got it during the pandemic, and I was gonna use it for the first time, and then the pandemic happened, so it still feels very new to me. This is a 10-inch tom. This is a 12, and that usually I go for a 14 here, but right now for live I'm using a 16, and this is an 18, so I just can get like that deep sound. I use the toms a lot for main rhythm parts, so I really wanted to get that depth in there. My bass drum actually is a little bit shorter in depth. This is 2214 bass drum. My snare is a hand-hammered Black Beauty. As you can see, she's a beauty. I really like the snare. I've been using it for kind of a short time. It was actually a gift, so I'm very happy with it. It has a very deep sound. It sounds gritty. It depends on obviously how you tune it, but my drum tech Carlos always gets just such a beautiful hard-hitting sound out of it. I use clear pinstripe Remo heads, again 10, 12, 16, 18 on the snare. I use the controlled sound coated one from Remo. So the tuning, especially in the toms, usually varies. These are usually tighter so I can get a good bounce from it. It sounds higher. But these ones are usually kind of tricky sometimes because I like them very loose. I like them deep sounding. But sometimes we get a lot of resonance. But Carlos, my drum tech, has this very cool trick. I don't know if you can see inside the drum, there are cotton pads. We use those to remove our makeup after the shows. And Carlos, one day, he just put them there. And it really dampens the sound, but it doesn't mute it completely. So that's great. So I can get them a little bit loose without it being a complete mess for our sound engineer. So I am a Sabian artist, and I use HHX all over my drum kit. This is an 18 HHX. This is a 16. This is also 18, the Ozone Evolution, and a 20 China. This is a 14. I use this on very few songs, but it does make a huge difference because I keep this a little bit more close than I do this one. So every time I just want to ride over here when I'm doing double bass pedal things, I use this one. This is a little splash. I love it. I don't use it as much as I would like to, but hopefully in newer songs I can incorporate it more. My ride, it's a Raw Bell Dry Ride, 21, and she's a beauty. This is my absolute favorite cymbal ever. I've been using it for years, I think for 6 years now, and it has such a cool sound. I crash a lot all the time, but I used to have just a normal, another HHX over here, but this, it just sounds so much darker, so it really cuts through the brightness of these HHX ones. I just incorporated this cowbell, this LP cowbell, to my drum kit because our new single More has a part with cowbell, and it's really fun using it. I haven't used a cowbell in years, and it has its little tricks because sometimes it just really falls, but it sounds so cool, and it's just really fun to just drive in that. I love it. I am a big Firth artist. I use 5B barrel tip. I just changed drumsticks actually. I used to use 5A, but I'm a very hard hitter and I wanted to stop. Like, it just felt really light in my hands. So I got this heavier set and I've been using it this whole year and it has made such a good difference. I don't have to use as like much strength to get like a very hard, deep sound out of them. This DW rack that I have, it's actually been like very modified by my dad. My dad like loves hardware and it used to be like a little bit too large for me, so he like grabbed like a saw and just started cutting everything to my size, and everything is just like so meticulously measured and marked. So like every time that we're touring, like my drum tech and everyone in production can just set everything up really quickly. So it's very efficient. Every time we open for a band or something, we can get everything done in a very short amount of time, so we're not bothering anybody, and it's great. And it's also very comforting to arrive to each show knowing that the measurement of everything is gonna be exactly the same each show. So you don't get like wonky drum sets sometimes. It's all measured precisely. The pedal that I'm using is a Machine DW pedal. I used to use a direct drive from DW, but after they released the chain one, I prefer this one so much more. And it takes a while getting used to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's so easy to control. And again, I'm a very hard hitter, so it just comes back to me in such a easy way for me to like not hurt myself while I'm playing, and I just really love it. I've been using it for a while. In my hi-hat, I'm using a 9000 DW. I'm a DW girl. And for my MIDI pedals, I'm using some Roland MIDI pedals. They're very heavy, which is great. So basically, I launch all of our like stems and click through Ableton. And I used to have to do it with like manually, but it kind of looked really like clunky. Like after every single song, I would have to go and click enter. So with these MIDI pedals, I can launch the whole show without anybody noticing. And I used to have like, I've been through so many MIDI pedals and MIDI pads, but these are so great because they're really heavy. So like, they're not gonna be set off by like the slightest movement. They're like, it takes a good hit for it to change the scene. So they're fantastic. I have a start pedal and a stop pedal just in case something goes wrong. We're all human, so sometimes we need to stop the click track. It's just so efficient for everybody to have these systems, and it's fantastic. The drum throne that I use is the DW Airlift 9000. It's great. I use it in the lowest setting because I'm really short, so but it's really comfortable. I love it. For in-ears, I use in-ears audio. They are fantastic. Usually we grow them out really quickly, but these have just like really lasted. And usually the problems that we have with in-ears is like the cables at one point, like they just don't plug in correctly and you don't hear stuff. But these ones have lasted wonderfully. What I hear the most in my mix is the bass, because me and my sister are just like really connected when we're playing. So having that, like those bass ends, just like really makes a big difference. For my kick block, I have a kick block because I hit it very hard and usually it just goes so far. Sometimes like when we didn't have a kick block, sometimes Carlos, my drum tech, would just have to be like there in front of the drum just like for it to not move. So that is a lifesaver and I love it. So that was my gear run through. Once again, we are The Warning. Our webpage is called thewarningband.com. We are The Warning Band on all social media, so go check us out. Thank you for watching.
So that was really nice. I felt like that was the first time I really got a good sense of Pal's personality. And you're right, they are humble and playful and enjoyable to listen to. Obviously, extremely intelligent young ladies. A couple of points I want to bring up before we move on to the song. The first thing I want to say is if you are a drummer in the audience, tell me how you feel about Pal's setup. I think the frame that her dad built is a way cool idea. Every band I've ever been into, and you know that when you go to different stages, they're different sizes, different depths, different widths, drummers have the worst time. And you'll watch, you'll get your amp set up and your guitar and your mic stand where you want it, and tape down some cables, or if you do that kind of thing, or if you got somebody over there doing that stuff, you're dodging them, and you look around and there's your drummer still trying to figure out exactly where he or she wants their snare to be, or how am I going to keep from having to chase my bass drum all over the stage, because kick block, that's the first time I've ever seen one. I didn't even know they existed. But again, I'm not a percussionist. So if you're a drummer out there, tell me how you feel about. I like the fact that she used the 16-18 toms, because that bigger sound is nice in a power trio. Of course, we're always talking about bigger sound, right? And I also thought what was very interesting was the MIDI pedals being so resistant to change. In other words, she had to put a lot of force on them in order to move the menu on the laptop. And I thought to myself, that's really smart thinking, because when you're in a show, your adrenaline, of course, is much higher than it normally is. So when you're sitting at home and you have it set to easy, movement, when you get on stage, now you're smashing the heck out of it, and it runs through, the next 10 songs before you can stop it, before you get your foot off it. I'm guessing that's what she's talking about. I've never used a system like that. Everything we did on stage was just as raw as it gets. I mean, we had a PA and fiddle around with a PA board, but I mean, we didn't have any computers or anything, because I'm old, man. I mean, we didn't use computers for anything. So it's cool to watch this stuff and to see drummers integrate click tracks and that kind of thing into, and of course it makes perfect sense that a drummer would be handling a click track. Black Beauty snare, I recognized. I've known more than one drummer that's had one. I did recognize that. And also, I didn't say enough about the frame. And her dad's idea, I think that, I don't know if that's such a thing is marketed out there, or if this is an original idea by him, but she's right. She's short. She probably needs everything close, low. So the frame makes it, every time she goes on stage, everything's set exactly where it needs to be. You don't even have to play her drums. You can just be the person setting up her drums for her. She walks on the stage and everything's exactly where it belongs. That's such a gigantic help, because drummers go through hell. They have the worst job in the band. If they don't get any help, when we always tried to help our drummers, they have a lot of equipment to carry into a club. And then at the end of the night, we're all done and we've loaded our amps and our guitars in about 4 minutes, and then the drummer's tearing everything back down. And they typically bring their own vehicle because they have so much equipment. So there they are tearing it down, and it'd be real easy to walk out, and go, well, good luck. But of course, we didn't do that, but I imagine there's drummers out there that could tell me stories about that happening. It's a tough job, and it wears you out. And so if you have to come in and spend an hour and a half setting up, which we all did, we always went in. I usually wanted to go in the morning of the night that we played and scope everything out, and then, write down a game plan about where things went, how you ran chords, who stands where, that kind of stuff. All that in advance, so you don't have, chaos on stage that evening. So I think the drum frame would go a long way for everybody on stage to have an easier night of it. Smart idea. So let's go on to the... So drummers, don't forget me. Let me know what you think of it out there, if there's any of you out there. And let's go on to... this was recommended by Crash66, and the reason I'm doing it is he didn't ask for it once, but twice in 2 different videos. So let's go ahead and do it next. And here we go.
Voice that's in my head is getting stronger. Tell me how.
That's not long enough, is it? That's an awesome song. So I was checking out. Now that we got tuned into Pal and her set, I was looking at the set all the way around and just judging, from the cheap seats. It looks like it's exactly the same as it. This is 4 years old, so she set what she wanted early and has stuck with it. Drummers, do you change your setups? I'd like to know that too. Again, I don't know much. I mean, I know what I like from a drummer, but I don't always know how they produce it. So this was awesome. I keep thinking when I hear them in the basement, like, why go anywhere? You could record everything right here. I mean, that's I know why they do, and there's a whole lot more available in a studio than there probably is in this basement. But for the kind of rock that they play, God, that was tight. That when they dropped out there for that second, that break was so tight, out and back in like one unit. Very nice, very nice. There it is. Crash. Sorry it took me so long. And I hope you all have a great Christmas if I don't post another one between now and Sunday. But I really enjoyed that. I was glad for the updated rig rundown for Paulina because knowing the current equipment that they're using it's just nice. Just nice to know. And now that I have some of this written down and have an idea of what she's doing, when I get some feedback from some other drummers that I know and from you guys and girls out there that play drums, you can tell me how you feel about that rig rundown that you watched. I thought it was pretty awesome, but, I'm not a drummer. So I guess I'll get out of here now. And y'all have yourselves a Merry Christmas. And I'll see you soon. All right. Bye now.